Oh, you're gonna make me get up. I'm not sure if it'll. I'm screwed to go
No,
back too.
it's not gonna go, Sharon. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You got it?
My right knee a little bit angry with me. Just a little bit. That's okay. Just a little bit. I'm cool with that. Last fall, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And I certainly wouldn't be able to walk after.
We have our, I was just gonna say, we have our dedicated Bob with us today, always here with us.
Here.
Present.
Keep all by your heads, please. Lord, bless this gathering of fellow Rotarians today. Please help us to see those in need and give us the strength and wisdom to serve our community as we should. Help us to lift the burdens of others while we maintain the dignity of mankind. Soften our hearts to be sensitive and loving as we serve together as Rotarians. Amen. Where to go today?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you all join me in the saying the holy test of the things we think, say, or do.
First is the truth. Second is it fair to all concerned. Third will build goodwill, better friendship. Fourth will be beneficial to all concerned.
That was slick, man. That was really slick.
I thought she was moving out of the way.
I thought so too, but she totally, that was great.
That's Nan being so concerned.
Okay, guys, there's not a whole lot today to go over. The first thing, Bonnie had dropped in and gave me a check yesterday. Shelley had applied for a few different grants, and one of the grants, the letter says, "Dear Ms. Thomas, on behalf of the United Way of the Upper High Valley and Southwestern Energy, it is my pleasure to inform you that the application for the Rotary Club of Moundsville for the SWN Food and Securities Grant has been reviewed by the United Way Allocations Executive Committee, and your agency is being awarded $250. We applaud your efforts to aid community members with their food insecurity needs. It is important for our donors to know how their funding is supporting the community. Therefore, we will be sending a follow-up reporting form for information on how the awarded funding was used to help community members." And then there's an address for the acknowledgement. And it's signed Jessica, who is the executive director of the United Way. So we got $250 from them.
Cool,
I'm going to
that's
check
great.
in with Shelley. I'll scan this so she knows and maybe find out a little more particulars about that grant. So, but we did get 250. So. There was a few things, I'm just trying to look through things and find stuff to tell you because there's not a whole lot going on in the Rotary world. The Chamber of Commerce puts out a Chamber of Commerce every week. Some of you get it, some of you don't. They have a virtual training on, it's called Introduction to Finding Grants. I don't know if that's something, I know nothing really about grants other than it's a grant. So that's something, and it is free. There's no cost to the participants. The training and future installments of the Camden series is offered at no cost. It's on Tuesday, April 20th from 9:30 in the morning to 11:30. So I'm not sure if that's anything anybody's interested in. And Jim, which nursing home or care facility does Jennifer work for?
Shady side.
But I don't remember the name.
It's continued caring. No.
Continuing healthcare?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This was also on, they are doing an Easter basket drive. Easter baskets will be dropped off from March 15th to the 26th from 8 in the morning to 4:30. The Easter baskets will be donated to the Belmont County Department of Job and Family Services in St. Clairsville, Ohio, and distributed to children in need for Easter. There's age groups: baby, age 2 to 4, ages 5 to 9, 10 to 12, and ages 13 and up. So I didn't know if that was something that anybody personally or Rotary was interested in. Like I said, I was just trying to find different things that's going on in the community. There's stuff starting to kind of pop up now. Best Business Strategies is conducting a food drive in March and April to assist the Mount Olivet United Methodist Church's Lord's Pantry. That was a mouthful. And it provides monthly food assistance to an average of 85 families throughout March and Ohio counties. Small non-perishable food donations can be dropped off at the back porch of the Best Business Strategies. Please use the brown plastic bin. Larger donations can contact Shirley Byard to make arrangements. Cash or credit card donations can be made online. The monthly food distributions are the 4th Friday monthly, except November and December through the 3rd Friday. So that's something, again, that if somebody, then the Chamber of Commerce, we are having for the first time a ladies luncheon this year. It's on April 21st from 11 to 1. We're going to have Jody Cunningham's going to be the master of the ceremonies. We're going to have Jill Sprangler, which is the Director of Nutrition and Diabetes Education from WBU Reynolds, talk. Joelle Murray, Living Aligned Mind, Body, and Soul. And Katie Caffrey, maybe, from the Moundsville Pharmacy in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And that goes along with Administrative Professionals Day. And our Miss Sharon was a sponsor, the Ladies Wellness sponsor. So I do have some flyers for those, and I also have tickets. They are $20. It's from 11 to 1, April 21st.
Is that a Wednesday?
It is a Wednesday. So, since I'm on that committee, I won't be here.
I won't be here either.
So.
I'll take over.
Okay, thank you. Mike's my go-to guy this year.
I have a ticket if anybody, not to just, but I got 2 tickets for being a sponsor, and I'm only me, so if somebody wants to do my date,
So yes,
I'll take you.
and if anybody's interested, anybody has your bosses do something for you for Administrative Assistance Day, and that's something that you're interested in, kind of put a bug in their ear, because this is the first thing that we've actually really kind of done in person. So I do have tickets in the chamber. We can get tickets there. So I do have flyers on that. There's going to be a light brunch type thing. I don't know what the menu is yet. I think it's being kind of tossed around. It's going to be just a light.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I was,
the best.
I almost asked before I even said I'd sponsor it to see who's gonna come.
Yeah, I forget what, like a finger food type thing. This side room's talking about fitness. She's talking about desserts.
Balance. You need a balance in life.
I'm right in the middle.
Came to the other side. I walked over.
And we do have a speaker today. Before we get to our speaker, Bob is the only one that has responded to me as far as the email I sent out about fundraiser ideas.
You go, Bob.
His suggestion was, the only thing he could think of was maybe 50-50 tickets. So I know we had mentioned that here. So here we are again. We've got a handful of us, not a whole lot of ideas. So
Bob's really good at selling hot dogs. Bob, he must be muted. He's great at hot dogs.
So
I heard that.
You can take care of that, right? We'll sell them.
No,
You take care of it and we'll sell them. That'll be your fundraiser.
Bob's gone. There you go. Does anyone else, our district governor was here last week and he was very entertaining. He talked about a lot of different things. Again, it's in the letter today. But I don't really have too much else. Sharon, anybody have anything else?
Are we gonna Are we going to respond to the request for $100 in gift cards from our club?
Oh. I mean, I would say if they're asking every club to do it, that,
I'm already getting
yes,
stuff
you know,
in.
um,
It's for the district, Bonnie, for the district conference. They've asked each club to donate $100 worth of gift cards. And then there'll be a raffle for, it'll be over $5,000 worth of gift cards that can be used anywhere. So it's like, we'd like to support small business, but in this case, we can't.
Oh, okay.
So it's like like what I've got so far is Walmart and Bob Evans. I mean, it's gotta be a big box
A
thing,
chain.
unfortunately.
yeah.
But we should be able to sell tickets pretty easily for over $5,000 as a pie.
So do we need a motion then for the club to purchase $100 worth, and then if anyone individually wants to make donations?
Yeah, I had one person, an individual person donate $100 too already.
That's awesome.
Am I able to make a motion? Do I have to be?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I make a motion that our club sends in a $100 gift card
Pretty.
for the,
I'll second.
Okay.
You gotta vote.
All in favor?
I'm still making notes here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say sign.
I just thought of something.
Yes.
We were talking about fundraising. And this just came quickly. As you go up and down Route 2 on Sundays, there's a big truck there, and I understand it's a pizza truck
Oh, at the pharmacy?
Yeah.
at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And people are lined up on both sides of the sidewalk or almost out in the street. And I didn't know what it was for a long time. And then somebody today mentioned hot dogs. Wonder if we could come up with something creative to have all kinds of hot dog choices.
Bob,
Like hot dog bar,
Yeah, like a hot dog bar.
different toppings.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I know the kids right now, I don't know if this is just a camera thing, but they have what they call Dorito dogs. And it's crunched up Doritos and something else on it. It does not sound good. It is not bad, honestly, because I'm like, what in the world are you kids eating?
Like a hot dog.
Yeah, they're
bar.
called
And
Dorito dogs.
the pharmacy closes at 1 on Saturday.
Mhm.
Just thought of that, maybe on a Saturday at 1 o'clock.
How would we do it? That would
I
have to
don't
have.
know.
Keep thinking, that's a good idea. Keep thinking,
Yeah, I
Bonnie.
mean, it's an idea.
That's
What we need is
There's lots
something
of
different, something.
choices.
So many
of
choices of what you can
toppings.
put on a hot dog.
Excuse me?
So many choices of what you can put on a hot dog.
Yeah.
Crumbled Doritos now we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea if we figure out how to do it.
Well, we'll think about it.
Think about it, Bob.
We've had some success making the hot dogs in advance and putting them in the bun, wrapping them in foil, and then just using roasters.
Yeah.
I mean, when we've had to do several hundred for ball games and
Yeah.
things.
Okay, and then just have toppings
Yeah,
out.
then they
Let
can
people
put their own
top their
toppings.
own.
That sounds fun. That really sounds fun. We can figure out how to do it.
Okay.
Keep
I mean, that.
your brain going on that
What we
one,
need
Bonnie.
is ideas.
I
because-
love the idea. Figure out how to do it.
And I'm sure Jason and Tiffany would let us do that.
Oh, I would think.
Well, we got the overflow right next door too, that I could maybe.
It'd be nice
Mhm.
if you do it like at the concerts, like you had it at Grandview, obviously the View does those. Remember you used to have the concerts down on the riverfront?
Mhm.
It'd be nice to pull something up or do something there with the. hot
Yeah,
dogs.
because
Oh.
our
Pretty well spread
4-H
out
made, we done one of the, we were the
One of the booths.
kitchens
Uh-huh.
down there at the riverfront for the chamber one night, and we done really well. We even sold some 50, the kids went, you can turn down little faces. looking at you. So we sold a good 50 tickets, actually.
I don't think you're doing them though.
I don't.
Mm-mm.
I haven't heard Scott say.
Haven't heard it.
But yeah, that is a good idea. So that's what we need, is just some brainstorming kind of ideas. Sharon, would you like to introduce our speaker?
Oh, I lost him again. Wait a minute.
where did you go?
He went to sleep.
Disappeared.
Well, I don't know, and I'm terrible about remembering to ask people for a bio until it's like time to introduce them. And then it's like, oh yeah, I don't know much about RJ.
Well,
I
I'm
just
not very
met-
interesting.
Well, you probably are very
Well,
interesting.
The
I-
reason I didn't, all we had on here was Helping Heroes, so I wasn't even sure of a first name.
That's okay,
So
I got that.
I couldn't even call him.
So we have RJ Konkoleski, right?
Correct.
He's the executive director of Helping Heroes. He's from Medina. He's a Lion. I told him we would be kind anyway. And actually, I worked with a Lion at the vaccination clinic, so we got a big kick out of that. But anyway, RJ is here to tell us about Helping Heroes, and I understand you guys have a big thing coming up. So
Yes, we have a big event coming up.
okay, so tell us.
Lots of
Go ahead.
news, all right.
Please
Want me
welcome
to
RJ.
Stand up.
Yeah.
All yours.
Well, as a Lion, I love the opportunity to come to the second largest service organization. in the world, because, the Lions are the largest service organization.
But we did collect more for the bell ringing.
Yeah, in all seriousness though, I've been a Lion for 22 years, and I was district governor in 2012 and 13. And communities need these service clubs. The government's getting less and less money all the time, and it's just amazing to see what clubs like the Lions and the Rotaries and Kiwanis do in a town. It's a really good thing. So I applaud you all for the effort that goes in. But I'm here to talk about Helping Heroes, and we have a lot of things going on. I'm sure you probably all, I would think, know a little bit about the organization. Maybe you know Jeremy and Susan Harrison. They started the organization. I started there about 1.5 years ago. At that time, we had 3 employees, and today we have 12. So things are kind of picking up in that respect a little bit, which is a mixed bag. It's good and bad. Our primary focus is on veterans who are homeless or about to become homeless. So it's on the one hand, you know, you say, well, that's no good. That means more people are in that situation, but it might not mean that. It just might mean that more people in that situation are finding out about things we can do for them. So that's at least the way I like to look at it. But we have an office on Jefferson Avenue. Above that office, we have 3 apartments for what we call transitional housing. So I guess I'll start with our first goal is to, if someone is housed, we want to keep them where they are. If they're behind on their rent or their electric is getting turned off, we can help them with that. If there's a reason they can't stay where they are, we see this a lot. People, the rent's more than they can really afford, and they moved in and now it's 4 months later and they can't make their bills. So we'll help them look at their finances and find what can they pay for rent. Maybe you can't afford $1,400. Maybe you need to find a place for $800, and we'll help them do that. So there are, as we progress through, you know, the cases from very simple to very complex, there's a whole nother segment of individuals that maybe they're coming out of jail, or maybe they are, you know, they've gone through a divorce and they've lost their home or something, and they're literally homeless. So in some cases, our case managers, our social workers talk with people, and in some cases we can find them an apartment and put them right in. We can pay their deposit. We can help them pay rent for up to 9 months as they get settled in. But again, some of those cases are a little more complex. If someone's coming out of prison and maybe they've got a domestic violence charge or something on their record, they can't go to public housing. They're not allowed in. If it's drug offenses, anything involving things you have to register for, firearm offenses, child sexual assault, many landlords will not rent to those people. So we maintain these transitional apartments, and what that does is it gives them a place to live for up to 2 years at no cost to them, where we help them figure out what they're going to do, because no matter what their crime or history or situation, they are, number one, they are a human being, and they exist and they deserve a place to live, and number 2, they served our country in the military, and that has value as well. So we say we're a bridge that can't be burned. We don't care what you did. We don't care we're here to help. So that's kind of the approach we take there. So all of last year we served 41 veterans. This year already we are, I think, at 53 or something like that. So that lets you know how the need has changed during the pandemic. we've seen the waves, you know, there's been a moratorium on evictions. Well, then it's lifted. Well, then we get 8 phone calls in 2 days because everyone got their eviction notice. So it's been an interesting year to say the least, but you know, we're happy to be able to serve those veterans. We do the whole Northern Panhandle of West Virginia. And we have 2 new programs that we're actually launching. One is expanding that transitional housing. So we will have now 5 units instead of 3. And we are opening a homeless shelter for veterans in Wheeling. So before I came here, I was not very familiar with the homeless situation, but there is not a shelter in Wheeling that will take women or children. They are male-only homeless shelters. And a lot of that is due to shared living space and safety concerns and other things. But we are in a position that we can take anybody. So we're going to be the first in the Northern Panhandle that we have a family unit in our homeless shelter. So we're not quite open yet. We're targeting April 7th, but that's coming. So along with that, you may have heard that we are opening a location in Wheeling. As of right now, we are not leaving Moundsville. I know there's some concern about that, but our apartments are staying here. All of the staff won't be here, but you know, someone's here every day. We have leased space from the city where OVMC used to be. In the building that Northwood's on the 1st floor, we're going to be on the 2nd floor, and we're actually working on a deal with the city to purchase that entire building. We'd like to expand our services. We're looking at even some other programs. Right now, we don't offer any kind of medical care or psychiatric counseling or care, but we'd like to do that. We need square footage to do that. We like our building here in Moundsville, but it's very small. And the requirements from the VA are immense. Fire suppression and handicap accessibility. So it's just sensible for us to utilize that building that was already built to those codes and regulations. So that's kind of our big news, the new programs and moving up there. And on May 21st, which is my birthday, we have our biggest fundraiser, and that is called A Night to Remember. It's at River City or Nail City or whatever city they are right now up there in Wheeling. And I have never been because last year we weren't allowed to hold it. So we haven't had it for 2 years, but I'm told it's a great time. There's Donnie Gilbert does the DJing, and we have there's a prize wheel and raffles, and of course lots of good food and lots of good drinks. And we raise a significant amount of our private funding in that evening, and maybe in excess of $20,000 in one evening. A lot of that comes in ahead of time in sponsorships, but it's a very important event to us because although we are funded by the VA and we do get grant funding, there are people that don't meet that funding criteria. Maybe they were dishonorably discharged from the military. The VA doesn't like that so well. We don't want to turn anyone away. So we are able to offer the same services, but we use those private funds to cover what the grant funds don't. So if you're available, it's going to be a great evening. I think everyone in the universe wants a night out on the town after the year and a half we've been locked in our homes. So I think it'll be a good time. I invite you all to come out. And if you have any questions about what we do, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
You're on Jefferson Avenue.
Yes. 256 Jefferson.
What are the tickets to your fundraiser?
You know, off the top of my head, I don't know. I think they're 20. It's on our web. You can buy them through the e-tickets on our website. I think they're $20. In fact, I'm not even sure that they're up there for sale yet. Jeremy, he's our events coordinator. He handles all that stuff. But we did mail some invitations out this week, so they'll be getting out there. And we've got some posters going up around town. And we mailed all the invitations, so I didn't have any to even bring with me today. But we are ordering some more. And yeah, I'm excited. I think that people will be ready to go out. So I think we're going to have a good event this year.
I think so.
They're loud out.
Now, these individuals know about the soup kitchen.
They do. We are very connected with other organizations in the community, the food pantries, closed closets. We also help these folks with employment. placement. Again, it's hard to get a job if you've been in prison for 2 years for domestic violence. A lot of employers won't hire you, so we can almost intercede for them and talk to the employers and say, listen, I know this situation exists, but we're working with this person. He's got a social worker that's going to see him 3 days a week to make sure everything's going the way it should go. And we've had a lot of success with local employers here, the hotels, Kroger. Many places have been willing to hire what I would consider a more difficult case.
A good thing, you're a good model for these individuals that have had a rough past, violence, drugs and stuff. One thing that I think would be good to say, or a good motto for them would be, look, we're not here to look for excuses, we're here to look for solutions.
And it's
Because the
definitely,
excuses, pass is the pass, I mean.
and we do get clients who are actively using drugs, and that is not the first thing we work on. We have a concept we call housing first. If you're an alcoholic and you drink all day and you're sleeping under a bridge, you're not going to stop drinking as long as you're still sleeping under that bridge.
Right.
So the first thing we do is stabilize housing. Then we have conversations about addiction, recovery programs, rehab. We've sent several veterans to it's a place in Clarksburg we use. There's a place in Parkersburg that have 28-day inpatient programs, and then they'll come back and we'll pick right up where we left off and try to find them an apartment and a job and so forth. But housing comes first. Housing has to be first. If you're worried about where you're sleeping tonight, you're not worried about anything else in the world. You're not worried about money or a job or your family or anything. You're just worried about where you're going to sleep. So we try to eliminate that. Sometimes the same day.
I have a question and a comment.
Sure.
Question. How do you find them? They find you? How do you get connected with the people who need you?
So a lot of it is referrals from different agencies. Someone that's been going to the soup kitchen to get their meals may disclose to one of the workers that they're a veteran. Well, then they can call us or tell us to go there. Before this pandemic hit, we would every couple of months we would walk through those camps you hear about on the news in Wheeling and take some food and some information. And we can't offer services to those who aren't veterans because that's not how our funding comes, but we can certainly help the veterans. So we go through and we'll hand out bottles of water to everybody, or whatever we take with us, looking for those veteran clients. Landlords are a big referral source for us. My tenant's 3 months behind on our rent and he's a veteran. You gonna pay his bill for it? And we do. So, and that's okay. I mean, that's what it's kind of designed to do. So they come from a variety of directions. We try to go to any, we'll set up in the soup kitchen at the church. We'll have a table, we'll bring in soaps and deodorants and things, and we'll have our information there. But we try to get out, and that's been difficult lately. We've been willing to go, and people won't let us go. So that's just the reality of our current situation.
Okay, so part two, my comment is, when you're looking for jobs for these folks, my son might kill me for saying this, but he's begging for people to work. And he owns a restaurant, he owns Vagabond Kitchen. And it just can't get people to work. And I know that he and his friends who also own restaurants are the hardest places to get workers because it can be pretty ugly sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
But they make good, decent money. But if you don't already, check with the restaurants because
No, that's a great idea.
I mean, I saw
We're
where,
hoping that being in Wheeling, because transportation is another issue. We have, well, I can get a job at the Highlands. Well, sure you can, but what are you
How do
going
you
to
get
do?
there?
Walk, take a bicycle? That's not going to work. So we're hoping being in Wheeling, there are more walkable
right,
opportunities. Plus, it's on the bus line.
Right.
We've been involved with some other organizations, talking to Averta about bringing that bus down here, and I think they came as far as Reynolds for a while.
right.
I don't know
Enough
if they're even
people.
still doing that. They didn't put it on the schedule because it was temporary and not permanent. And the question is, well, then how do people even know it exists if you don't put it on the schedule?
Right.
So
Well, I know Matt's been begging, and I saw on Facebook later, Alligator was begging. I mean, literally
yeah,
begging.
yeah.
And then Matt had a thing on there begging for workers at
Sure.
Vagabond. And one of his friends who owns a restaurant in Wheeling said, if you get anybody extra, send them my way. I can't find workers.
That's great to know.
So, yeah, they're really, I mean, it might be in a dish pit,
Well, yeah.
More people are getting out.
right?
Like last week.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
But it's decent. I mean, it's a decent wage.
The
So,
last gentleman we got in he started cleaning at the hotel down by the Kroger. And after a few weeks, he had gotten a job at the Kroger on his own. Then he got a job with someone, now he's hanging drywall. He's
Right.
making $18 an hour hanging drywall, you know.
well, my
So
son started out in
it's
the
a
dish pit
process,
and now he
but-
owns a restaurant. So,
You need, you know, we work with, first they need an ID. Usually they don't have a driver's license or an ID. We have to get that, you know, get their things in order so they can get a job. You know, they don't have their social security card. They don't have a checking account. They don't, all of these things they don't have. So even an entry-level job somewhere sets up that structure that will allow them to do more moving forward.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You ever get referrals from like youth services? 'Cause, you know, they got a couple of adult programs.
They do. We
You know, they had that sleep, well, you know, they had that sleep in thing during the winter time.
yeah,
and
in
stuff.
fact, that just ended about a week ago, the winter
Yeah,
freeze
yeah.
shelter.
Winter freeze.
Typically, we haven't gotten many referrals from them, but now that we're going to open this shelter, we anticipate if a veteran comes to them, they're going to send them to us
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's a cost to them to house that person. And that's what we hope to do is, you know, create room in some of the other shelters. We understand there's great demand, so we'll be able to house up to 5 veterans there in an emergency shelter situation. So we anticipate Salvation Army and some of those other shelters, YWCA and so forth, will potentially refer their clients to us. We're not trying to take their business. We're trying to alleviate some of the strain on them. And again, these are federal grant dollars that are coming, you know, right back here into the community, and a significant amount of money. So it's, I think, as they say, the rising tide raises all the ships. So that's what
Did you get any additional funding through because of the pandemic?
we did.
Yeah, good.
We got a significant amount it was amazing to me to see how it worked. Our initial grant is about $200,000 a year. So we were a few months into that, and the first CARES Act was passed, and we got an amount equal to our annual amount. So what they did was they froze spending on our first allotment, and we had to spend that allotment. Well, by the time that happened, another year a grant year had passed, so we didn't spend the first 209. We got another 209, and that was also matched. So it kind of keeps rolling forward. So right now we're funded through 2024. If things were to stop tomorrow, which you know they're not going to, but it has really allowed us to move on some of these things, and it allowed us to quicken that response time, because if someone showed up at our door now because of these CARES funds, we could literally take them and put them in a hotel, you know, that night. And that gives us a few days to figure out where we're really going to put them. But we don't have to tell them, you know, well, come back Monday when we can help you, when they call us at 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, which is when all of them come. It's amazing. But that's been it's been very expensive, but it's been very useful for us. I think we've had probably 6 or 7 individuals